Today, we're going to talk about psychologically unsafe environments, and I'm going to walk you through what that could look like. But before we get started on our psychologically safe environments, hi, my name is Summer Janae, and welcome back to my channel. I am currently doing a series on psychological safety in the workplace, and today I want to break down some tall tale signs that you are in a psychologically unsafe environment. It could look like when when you're coming out of the weekend and you're on a Sunday night and your stomach just starts to turn, and it's not because of something that you ate. Let's be clear. I'm not talking about food poisoning. I'm talking about the closer you get to Monday morning and it's time for you to start preparing and getting ready for the work week, and you just start feeling sick to your stomach. You get to Monday morning and you just don't feel good. And if you're driving or you're commuting in or whatever, however you're getting to work, the closer you get to work, you just are nauseous and you just don't feel good. Odds are you're working in a psychologically unsafe environment, and you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision in terms of, are you going to stay there or are you going to leave? Because your health cannot take every morning or every day you going through that physiological change trying to prepare for work. One of the other things that is a clear indicator that you're in a psychologically unsafe environment is if you're being told that, oh, this is an open environment, and you're in a town hall type setting, but when it's time to ask questions, nobody has questions, or they'll only submit the questions anonymously. So that's not a psychologically safe environment. If the purpose of a town hall is to get information, give information, and then after you've received the information, if you have a question, ask the question, but no one asks the question, the environment isn't safe. It's not conducive for a communication, if you will, an honest, open exchange of information. That's not a psychologically safe environment. So we've talked about two so far. We've talked about that feeling you get on a Sunday night when it's time for you to start transitioning out of the weekend and start to think about work the next day. That's not psychologically safe. We've also talked about an environment where you're not free to ask questions. That's looked down upon, frowned upon because you're asking questions. But the story that's being told is it's okay for you to ask questions. That's not a psychologically safe environment. Some of the examples that were given in the book, this Fearless Organization book, talked about people who were at the top of their game. They were considered subject matter experts in their fields. They knew what they were doing, but they didn't feel safe enough to say, hey, something's wrong here, i.e. that maybe they were a pilot flying a plane and they knew something was off, or a healthcare worker that saw something but didn't say something. So often we are in an environment where people say, or there's a lot of slogans going on that you see something, say something. Well, if the safety of the people around doesn't strike that person enough, or their own safety doesn't strike them enough to say something, that means that they're operating in psychologically unsafe psychologically unsafe environment. And as a leader, it is that leader's responsibility to create that psychological safety in an environment. So if your team doesn't feel comfortable enough coming to you to say, hey, I noticed this is going on, and maybe ask the questions, what are you going to do to change it? It is up to you as a leader to create that environment. How are you going to make your staff, your team feel safe enough, bringing you both bad and good news? Yeah, everybody wants to clap it up for the good news, but you as a leader have to be willing to set the conditions so that they can also bring you that bad information, because you want the bad just as much as you want the good. Because at least if you are aware of the bad, then you can make the proper adjustments to fix whatever is going on in the bad or mitigate it before it happens. But if you are the type of leader that you only want your team to bring you good news, that's bad. How do you prepare yourself for when bad things happen in your organization? You have to stop and take a look in the mirror and figure out how you're going to flip that around, because a leader who's only getting good news is not leading at all. You're like reacting at that point, because you want your team to be able to bring you information so that you can make an informed decision for whatever is coming, not always being reactive because they're afraid to tell you. If you're in that situation, I highly recommend you make some changes and make them quick, fast, and in a hurry so that you can become a better leader and you can lead your organization better. That's all I have for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more about psychologically safe environments, and becoming a better leader. You owe that to yourself, and you owe that to your team and your organization that you're leading. You can't just sit there and watch something go on day in and day out and not address it. If you are not addressing something that you know is a problem, you are a part of the problem. Now I need you to become a part of the solution. That's all I have for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you share this video with anyone who you think can benefit from the content in this video. Have an amazing rest of your day and go be great.